My name is Christina Dow, and this is for one of my ESL courses. And I worked with my collaborating teacher on tips to use to be a more effective school leader and an advocate for ELLs. So part of being and working on your leadership skills is to help strengthen English language programs and educate other staff and school administrators. It's really important for schools to know their ELL population. So for principals and other school staff to understand the process of how ELLs are identified, the types of support and how parents and families are involved or can be involved, the number of ELLs in the grade levels, their home languages, whether they're immigrants, refugees, or long-term ELLs, and the number of ELLs that are also identified with a disability. It's also important to clearly define best practices regarding English learners. So schools need to speak a shared language when it comes to how ELLs are taught and how every staff member fits into that. Staff members will need to collaborate and work together with the guidance of the ESL teachers and figure out ways to best teach their ELL students, and being able to reflect on how ELLs are being actively engaged in participating in the classrooms, their discussion and participation with other students regarding academic language, and how to continue supporting their students throughout the school year. We can also demonstrate leadership skills, especially for ELL students, by focusing on the actions described through TESOL's Revised Standard 5 that discusses leadership. So with this leadership action, it discusses taking initiative to make changes and advocate for ELLs and even ourselves. So we can do this by helping our co-teachers or grade level teachers understand how to better effectively teach ELL students. We can proactively serve as a resource, so consulting with the school's test coordinator at the beginning of the year to discuss supports ELLs can use on their assessments to increase accessibility for the ELLs. We can also collaborate with content teachers to develop a plan for how ELL students will receive support in instruction and with class assessments throughout the school year. And we can do this by working with school administrators on ensuring that ELL students and their families and parents are being informed of the students' support throughout the school year. It also talks about being an effective communicator, so working with ELL parents and recognizing how their parents are supporting their child with their education and making them feel welcome and developing that trust and respect between them. Continuing your professional development, so learning new research and strategies on how to better teach ELLs is extremely important. As a school leader and an advocate for ELLs, it is crucial to create a welcoming environment and make connections with the students and their families. So ways we can create a welcoming environment for ELLs: we can display maps and flags from their students' native countries. We can use books and incorporate their culture into a lesson. We can create school-wide cultural activities, such as with Newcomer Academy, they have a culture night in which students showcase their culture, whether it be dance, food, anything else relating to their culture. It's also extremely important for schools to become familiar with the culture of their students, and they take consideration of the cultural differences between a U.S. school and a school that the student originally came from, if any. Creating this type of environment lets families know that the school is an important part of the community and that they're valued as members. We should also build relationships with families to help encourage student success. Communication is found to be more effective when it's personal or done face-to-face. Schools need to provide opportunities for even staff members to see how parents care about their child's education. And they need to see and understand the cultural differences between a U.S. school and other schools, especially when it comes to things such as scheduling. So many families may be absent due to cultural or religious holidays. So knowing this ahead of time will help plan schools and teachers especially with when they should do assessments, when they should plan for conferences, so students and their families don't have to miss out on things that are important like this. It will also help provide teachers with the base to build their background knowledge in the classroom. And even when an ESL teacher knows this information, it's better to also share this with other teachers so that, like, especially with the content teachers, it'll help them incorporate special events or holidays into their lessons. School leaders should also look for ways to involve the parents in the school community, and it also helps on building with this relationship. We can invite them into their child's classroom. We can encourage them to volunteer. Look for ways to bring ELL families and non-ELL families together through ways like student performances, storytelling, workshops, or even exhibits. We also need to ensure that our school and our school administrators have the knowledge that is necessary to ensure culturally and linguistic responsive instruction for all our students. So several key practices that need to be in place so that schools can be successful in meeting the needs of their ELL students are things like comprehensible input. So do all teachers know the current English language proficiency levels of their students? And do they plan their instruction and assessment around this? Are they receiving meaningful instruction? It also talks about another practice is explicit instruction. So are teachers providing explicit content and language objectives with their lesson or their unit? Are the ELL students able to understand what's being taught to them, and are they able to have opportunities to reflect on their learning and show what they know? Another one is increased student talk. So instead of focusing on a teacher, more teacher talking during the instruction, it needs to be more students. So do teachers ensure that their lessons have opportunities for students to participate in discussions and class participation with their other students? Teachers need to talk less and allow the students to lead the discussions in their classroom. And then we also need a scaffold. So we need to utilize a variety of different instructional aids. These could be charts, timelines, videos, manipulatives, even partner or group work will help the ELL students be successful. There's also a great resource on Color in Colorado, and it is a language policy survey. These can help schools identify their strengths and weaknesses in policy and procedures regarding ELL. So basically it discusses, it's either a don't know, I agree, disagree, and it's talking about, does the school district or language policy for ELLs and their implementation plan, does it include the following? So it discusses mission statements, procedures regarding language choice, the type of criteria for the programs that are being implemented, and this will definitely help. And along with this PDF file, it also at the bottom has time for a reflection. So you can write down at least 3 strengths that you've noticed, future possibilities that you've identified that could help improve instruction, and then it also gives you a place to write down the actions that you can help improve these policies or procedures. So especially with being a leader and an advocate for ELLs, it's extremely important to go back and go through all these things, have parent involvement, make sure you're taking in their culture to help plan with conferences, scheduling, communication, especially how you can involve parents and families in with the school, and how we can ensure that the ELLs are learning as effectively as we can teach them. Thank you.